Since there's 8.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs 2024 Nonprofit Partner Q&A session. We're excited to have so many of you on the call. I will run through just a couple important things and then we will take questions. If you want to put your questions in the chat, feel free to go ahead and start putting them in the chat field, and we will then address them in the order that they come in. So important dates, by far the most important date for the application is it is due on December the 15th of 2023. That'll give me and my team here at the department the opportunity to score the grant applications. And then we'll be able to notify the entity who was the selected nonprofit partner before the end of the year within a start date for the partnership of January 1st, 2024. So those are the important dates that I wanted to highlight. The solicitation is a total of 6 pages long, and then the 7th page is the 1-page application front and back that then needs to be emailed to the department before close of business on December 15th. Oh, that is online. Sorry, technology eluded me. That you will complete online before close of business on December 15th. So with that, I would be happy to entertain any and all questions. So just put them in the chat field. And I will answer them. Salon, are you able to confirm if we have any questions or not for me?
We don't.
Okay. So it's my understanding that we have 8 or 9 individuals on the call. If anybody would like to take the opportunity to introduce themselves, they could do that in the chat field as well. If they would like to share who they are that's joining us today. All right, nobody wants to ask a question and nobody would like to introduce themselves. Salon, are we able to see who they are? No. So if you don't introduce yourself, we will not know who you are. I would love to answer some questions. All right, we will just give it another couple minutes, and if nobody has a question, then we will end this Q&A session. Oh, okay, so we have one. Hi, Diane from Folds of Honor. Thank you for introducing yourself in the chat field. Oh, and hello. Oh, we have someone from Goodwill Industries in Michiana. Well, hello, welcome. Thank you, everybody, for starting to introduce yourselves. And hello, PTSD chaplain. I see you're driving, so please, safety first. Oh, and then the CEO of a nonprofit in Delaware County. Yep, you got the email from Buzz. Yes, I saw that also pop up this morning, so I'm glad that I wasn't the only one who saw it. That makes me feel good. Well, thank you for everyone who introduced themselves in the chat. It's nice to know who is on and who's joining us today.
We do want to talk about the couple of last year's recipients.
I certainly could. The past couple years recipients, just in case this is helpful to anyone, 2 years ago in 2022 was an organization called Pets Healing Vets. And it is a nonprofit out of Hamilton County, part of the Hamilton County Humane Society. And what they do is they marry up a pet with a veteran who's experiencing PTSD. And then after they marry that veteran up with the companion animal, they actually will pay for all the needs of that pet throughout the course of its life. The thought behind that is owning a pet and the expenses related with that pet ownership could be a stressor for a veteran who's already experiencing stress in their lives. And so they don't want that veteran to ever have that experience of stress associated with the animal. And they've been a wonderful partner back in 2022 as our nonprofit partner. And they're currently now one of our grantees in our Grants for Veteran Services program. Our current partner is Echo Housing, located in Evansville, Indiana, and they provide supportive housing and case management services to the veteran community in the southern part of Indiana. They have different housing opportunities from apartment style housing, transitional housing, long-term housing, whatever that individual's veterans needs is, coupled with case management services to help that veteran as much as possible have a successful life. I'm just looking at questions. So there's one that says I'm a nonprofit that focuses on a lot of different topics and different populations. I know we're still eligible to apply, but just curious if that'd still be recommended. Obviously, we would recommend that any nonprofit apply that assists veterans. That obviously is our focus here at the department, is the veteran population here in Indiana, but a program does not need to be exclusively serving veterans in order to be an eligible applicant or a good partner. So we have a question. What does the partnership between the IDVA and the NPP 24 look like? So what it primarily looks like is partnering on events that would raise money. The most notable that we have every year is our golf outing. So we have an annual golf outing where IDVA and our nonprofit partner both commit resources of volunteers to that golf outing, to run the registration table, to try to find whole sponsors, which of course then bring in additional funding. So that would be one of the requirements of the nonprofit partner, is to be able to supply volunteers at the golf outing and any other fundraising events that we held in partnership. So what then happens at the fundraising activities, no matter what they are, is obviously they would be planned, they would be held by a team of volunteers from IDVA and the nonprofit partner. And then all the proceeds from the fundraising activity go to the nonprofit partner to spend on whatever service they offer to the Indiana veteran population. So we had two with the same question about what does the partnership entail? If anyone would like further detail on that, I would be happy to provide that. As far as the amount of money that the fundraising events bring in, I would say that last year's was our most successful golf outing, and our nonprofit partner last year was able to realize fundraising efforts of, and I'm sorry, I'm looking at my companion that you could not see here, about how much did Echo Housing get this previous year?
About 30K.
It was about $30,000 from that one day event of the golf outing. So I'm just reading the questions here. Sorry, it takes me a minute to catch up. So it's the one of the questions is, so does the funding go to the NPP 24 recipient, or is it a percentage of the amount that was raised at the end of the year? It is all of the proceeds. IDVA does not keep any of the proceeds from any of the events, and we pay the nonprofit partner 24 at the end of each event. Once all the accounting is done and we're certain all the expenses are paid, then the NPP 24 would then get the proceeds right after the event. All right, then someone else asked, our organization hosts 7 stand downs, resources, and giveaways for veterans events per year. Would this grant assist with funding these events? It is up to the NPP 24 to decide what they want to do with the proceeds from the fundraising events. It just has to serve veterans of Indiana. However, we leave that to the discretion of the NPP 24 to decide the best use of those funds for their organization. We will wait a moment or two to see if there's other questions or follow-ups to the questions that I've already answered. So it says, I would like more information about fundraising events. We already host our annual fundraising events. Could this be incorporated with an existing event, or does it need to be new? It does not need to be a new event. This could be incorporated with your existing events. And then, of course, we already have established the IDVA golf outing, which is then an annual event that we have with the NPP 24 each year. There is no limit on the number of events. You would just work with our outreach division here to determine which events we wanted to partner on, and then have them fit into our schedule as well as your schedule as well. All right, we have David from Hero Hut. We partner with IDVA and many other events and are looking forward to doing so throughout 2024. Does this partnership extend outside of fundraising? This specific opportunity is only about fundraising and partnering to raise funds for the NPP 24, but that does not close the door to any of the other partnership opportunities that we have here at the department. We would be happy to partner with any organization that serves our veterans here in Indiana. It does not need to be the NPP 24 in order to establish partnerships. This is just a unique opportunity for one selected nonprofit to be our NPP 24 partner and realize those proceeds from the fundraising events. Let me just talk a little more, waiting to see if there's any other questions about our Grants for Veteran Services program. The NPP program is separate and apart from the Grants from Veteran Services program. Those grants are operated on the state fiscal year, which is July 1st to June 30th. And that grant application for anyone who is interested will be open in the spring of this year within a start date for the period of performance of July 1st 2024. Sorry, I had to remember what year I was on there for a second. And so that again is a separate program with a separate application that I would encourage all of you on this call to keep an eye out for that. The best way to learn about all of our programs here at the department, be it grant opportunities, resources, or just other general information, is to subscribe to our newsletter, which you can do on our website, and also to friend, like, or whatever one does, all of our social media outlets. All right, so we have a follow-up question. Does that include Governor's Challenge initiatives? Governor's Challenge initiatives have many different forms. They have some grant opportunities through our community coalitions. So we do have grant funds available through a chapter of the Grants for Services program that then will be granted out to community coalitions to operate as they see best for their community to address the issue of veteran suicide, family member suicide, and caregiver suicide. The grants for veteran services, Governor's Challenge grants, again, are going to be granted to community coalitions throughout Indiana. And then those community coalitions could then subgrant that money to specific organizations. And I see that we have someone who joined us from Saving Our Sisters. Thank you for joining us today. And we have a question, which is not a silly question. Will this video be published to share with board members or anyone else? Yes, it will be. It will be posted on the IDVA website, so to YouTube page. And it's a good thing I have our digital marketing manager right over here to keep me straight on these things. It will be on the IDVA YouTube page. So yes, please feel free to share it with whomever you like and watch it as many times as you like. Other questions? These are all great. Let's keep it going. All right, we'll give it just another moment. It seems like whenever I say that, some questions pop up. So we'll give it another moment to see if anyone else has a question. Salon, I can't see chat. All right, I'm not seeing any other additional questions, so we're going to make this our last call for questions. Please remember to complete this online before voting. The letters of support, can you tell us more about what information are needed or just that they support the organization? That would be a decision to what content to put in there. That would be between the nonprofit organization and whoever is supporting them. Whatever the individual organization writing the letter of support wishes to say about the organization, that'd be up to them. Obviously, we would be interested in knowing what the relationship is between the entities. So if you serve homeless veterans and the letter of support is coming from a police station that brings homeless veterans to the doorstep of the nonprofit, we would want to understand that relationship in the letter from the, in this example, the police department. All right, it says, could you reiterate how many events there are outside of the golf outing? The golf outing is the staple that we have every year. Any additional events would be determined between IDVA and the selected nonprofit partner. So we know that the golf outing will definitely happen. The other events, what they are and how many there are, is then determined once we have selected the nonprofit partner, and then they work with our outreach division. And then since we have several programs, would the golf fundraising efforts have to come from the veteran-specific program of the organization? I'm going to answer the question as I understand it, and if I don't hit the answer, please tell me where I went afoul in the chat. So the volunteers that would be coming from the nonprofit that would be volunteering at the golf outing or any other event in partnership with IDVA through the NPP 24 program, those volunteers could come from any segment of your organization. They wouldn't necessarily have to be involved with the veteran serving aspect of your organization. They could be any volunteers as well. When is the annual golf outing typically hosted? An estimated time frame?
Going to be May 10th.
It is going to be May the 10th of 2024. And so the golf course has already been selected, and it's going to be a Brookshire golf course up in Carmel, Indiana. And they have been the golf course that we have utilized many times, and obviously based upon the amount that our current NPP partner realized at the end of the event, obviously they do a very nice job as our selected destination for that.
And I put the link to the solicitation in the chat.
And the link to the solicitation is in the chat, just as easy reference in case anyone needs it. Anyone else? We'll give it, again, just one more minute. And then if there are no other questions, we will say goodbye to everyone for now, and we will look forward to getting your submissions. I will tell you, if you have your submission ready prior to December 15th, feel free to go ahead and get that completed and submitted to us online. No reason to wait to the last minute. If you would like to go ahead and get that done, we'd love to have it. Oh, okay, we have one more question. Go right ahead.
You can go ahead and give them your email address.
Oh, absolutely. My email address is G-Owens and then the number 1, so that would be G-O-W-E-N-S and the number 1 at dva.in.gov. Would you mind putting that in the chat just for ease of reference? And we're also going to put my email address in the chat as well. All right, so the question is, 3 members of our organization work for the County Veteran Service Office. Would be a conflict of interest to ask the District Veteran Service Officer for a letter of support. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a conflict of interest, but that is information we could obtain internally from our DSO, since they are our employees here at IDVA. What I would do instead is seek a letter of support from another entity. These are all excellent questions. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for putting my email address in. There is my email address. That email address is also contained in the solicitation, along with Brooklyn Deaton, who is our grant and compliance administrator, and who could also answer any questions as well. All right, anyone, anything else? This is your chance. Great. If no one has anything further, and again, I thank all of you for joining us today. I thank you for the questions. They were great. Thank you to everybody who introduced themselves. It's just nice to know who we have on. And we look forward to seeing all of your applications. Please make it difficult for us to pick the right one. Tell us all about your organization. Tell us what you do for the veterans of Indiana and make our scoring panel work a little hard. So with that, I will say goodbye to everyone. Again, this will be available on the IDVA YouTube channel, and I look forward to your applications. And everybody have a great afternoon. I tried to, can you